All right, we're going to be going into Game 5. Mine just cheesing out sulky, really doing whatever it takes to get ahead in these race wars, playing dirty. And our next game is going to be Mind versus Snow on Icarus. So looking forward to seeing what Snow has in store for us. So jumping into the game in the left side, in the yellow, our Terran player who's up 2-0, been doing a fantastic job in this series so far. It is going to be Mind. And up in the 12 o'clock position, in the red, well known for his Carrier Reaver play, it's going to be Snow. So lots of interesting things that we can see on this map as well. Icarus, another a bit non-standard map, kind of changes the way that the game is played quite a bit. It's difficult to take a third base easily on this map. It's kind of a very funky, symmetrical build of the map, so I don't expect us to go to a very epic, long split map position game, especially in these close positions. However, you never really know. Icarus is known for a lot of really wonky builds and funky stuff going on, so we'll have to see. It's very difficult to actually defend the main. There's a lot of open space, and there's a gigantic ridge coming into the main by the open ground area in front of it. So there's very good potential for early siege tank pushes, very slow methodical pushes with missile turrets and things of the like that basically allow you to just push into your opponent's natural very slowly and cause all kinds of problems. So it's really going to be up to Snow to position his buildings correctly, make sure they're not too close to the ledge, but still close enough that he has enough room in the rest of his main. It's definitely one of the problems that you have on Icarus, is finding good positions for all of your buildings. So you see right now they're all tucked into this left corner. He doesn't really want to bring them too close to that ledge and risk losing a cybernetics war to a siege tank or anything like that. And we actually see a very early gas coming out from Mind, so he's going to be going automatically for that more aggressive build. We're probably going to be seeing some drop play coming out early on. That's what I would like to see, especially with the ability to do something like push into the natural with a couple of tanks and do some damage to the high ground area, while also like dropping vultures in the main, things like that. There's lots of really cool stuff that you can do, lots of technical builds that you can do with this sort of style, but he actually pulls off of gas, so looks like this is actually going to be more of an economical build from Mind, just getting a tank and expanding off the back of it. Meanwhile, the Dragoon range, early Dragoon pressure that is going to be coming out from Snow. Nothing uncommon there. It's just going to allow him to easily take that third base while deflecting any attacks from his opponent. Scout's going to be coming in here for Snow. Is he going to get any information? He's going to pull away before he actually sees anything. Just want to make sure that he doesn't lose that probe a little bit too early. He'll just wait for the Dragoon to come over here and start putting on some pressure.
한 8% 정도 되고요. 평평한 지구님 감사드립니다. 윤철이가 이겨서 제이드랑 했으면 좋겠다.
Early Nexus coming out from Snow, nothing out of the ordinary there, but it does open him up to some potential pressure in the coming minutes, depending on what Mind has in store for him. Wow, actually going super greedy. It looks like he's going to be putting down that Robo before even making a third Dragoon, so this has been quite a bit of a greedy opening for Snow so far, maybe even going into DT drops. Actually, no, even before the second Dragoon, so only one Dragoon out on the map right now. He's going to be blocking on the ramp with that. Oh, the probe does not block properly, so the SUV is going to get up and get full scouting information of this area, maybe. Not quite. Does see the second Dragoon, but you know your opponent's trying to hide that much information. You kind of expect to see some sort of cheesy play coming in, and even building the command center on the high ground just to be safe. And mine's going to be taking a little bit more methodical approach of expanding into this natural. He's going to be a little bit more careful of things like DT drops, of Reaver drops coming in, because he knows his opponent is trying to hide something. Fortunately, this also kind of opens up a realm of possibilities for Snow to be a little bit greedier, knowing that his opponent is going to be playing safe. It allows him to skip out on a couple more Dragoons early on. He's going to be just poking around, trying to get some free damage on these units. The Rax is doing a pretty good job of screening and preventing free damage coming down from those units, but with the first couple Spider Mines out, Mind is pretty safe from any sort of all-in with Dragoons early on. Now he's mostly just worried about seeing what his opponent is going to be throwing at him pretty soon. Thanks for the follow. Didn't actually see who that was, but thank you so much for the follow. For a second there I was very confused because I forgot I added those sounds. So I was wondering where the battlecruiser was coming from. I know my Korean buddy's also made a scoreboard, but it's confusing, so we go with what I do. Which I actually think I forgot to update from the last round, so let me just update that real quick. Done. Okay, so next point of contention is we're wondering what type of tech is Snow going to be doing. So is very well known for doing carrier Reaver tech, where he goes for fast Reavers, goes for those Reaver drops early on, and keeps his opponent pinned back while he takes an easy third base. And that's a pretty smart play on this map, but ironically, one of the counters to fast Reaver drops is going for a counter Vulture drop. And we've seen this several times from Terran players. When they suspect that their opponent is going to be going for Reaver drops, they'll actually drop Vultures at the same time. And because you're investing so much into tech, you really don't have the gas needed to have the Dragoons in position to deal with the tech that could be coming out from you. There is this droppable ground over by the natural that I think Snow was maybe expecting to see some tanks come in, but Mind actually playing a little bit safer right now. Not going to be going for those early drops early on. So Reaver's going to try to be getting a little bit of damage, but behind the mineral line always causes all kinds of problems. The Scarab is going to glitch out, not hit anything. And, oh, he really needs to be careful. Oh, got one SCV, so that's pretty nice. At this point, really, Snow doesn't really need to push this out any further. He's done a pretty good job of putting pressure on his opponent. He can continue to do this without too many repercussions while taking a third base. He doesn't have to worry too much about doing the damage necessarily, and that's why I like this build, is you don't actually have to do tons of damage with it. As long as you have the pressure out of the map, you'll be in pretty good shape to take that third base. We see the Stargate coming down from Snow. It looks like it is not going to be a carrier play. Maybe a little bit worried that the positions are too close here for carriers. Usually you need a little bit of time to kite back. And as I said earlier, you can kind of just do a siege tank push and take advantage of that ridge over by the main. So instead it's going to be Arbiters coming out from Snow, a little bit more of the traditional Protoss tech, not being too predictable here, and just focusing on getting a very gateway heavy army. So, first couple tanks are going to be coming out, and actually it looks like he was making something from that barracks, maybe just a couple of Marines to help push away the dropship as he's moving out across the map. I think there's definitely going to be a timing attack coming out from Mine in the next couple of moments. He's definitely showing it as if he's... Oh, the Reaver goes down. That's a lot of the pressure that Snow had out on the map. Luckily, he does have a second Reaver that's going to allow him to get a push. Very good mine hit, so Scarab hit rather. So that's going to be able to put a lot of pressure out on this, killing off one of the siege tanks already. So this is very nice. He's got to do a really good job of kiting this back, because this is actually a very deadly push that's coming his way right now. He's doing a good job of cutting back with his Dragoon so far, but he really needs to start doing some damage to these tanks. If the tanks are allowed to get in position and start setting up by this natural, it's going to be a huge problem for him. But so far the kiting has been very good, only losing a couple of Dragoons here and there. The SCVs coming out as well, they're going to be starting to build missile turrets and prevent any drops coming down on top of these tanks. And so far the push from Mine has been very methodical and very strong, just pushing out, sieging one tank at a time very, very slowly. And this one missile turret actually causing a lot of problems, screwing up a lot of the pathing for these Dragoons. And with more and more pressure coming in, I'm not sure if Snow can hold this. He's lost a lot of units in the process, and even though he still has this Reaver to kite back with, he's ended up losing quite a bit in the process. First Arbiter is coming out right now, but I don't think it's going to be enough with this many tanks coming in right now. He's going to attempt to drop on top of the tanks, maybe drag a couple of mines, but he does manage to kill off one tank, so it's a pretty decent trade for him. However, the problem is that there are tanks right on top of his natural right now, and with nothing in position to defend other than a Reaver and a dropship, he's gonna have a lot of problems dealing with this, because believe it or not, tanks outrange Reavers. He's trying to hold on, doing as much as he can, but I think in this position he's completely dead. All the units just now being funneled into a single choke, and Mine taking complete control of this natural. Pretty soon he's going to be in range of the Nexus and be able to... Oh, he actually is in range. Tanks actually have ridiculous range. Stupid. So now in range of the Nexus being shelled down. It's going to be going down pretty soon. The best thing that Stowe can hope for is a big push out very soon with his first Arbiter, but with how many units he's lost already, don't see any hope for him at this point in time. He's going to try to ferry a couple units over to this third base location to try to continue working, but with a couple siege tanks coming in there right now, this is completely over. There's nothing to defend these probes. All the probes over here are going to go down, and Mine has taken the natural, and behind this continue to macro and just build up a ton of units. It really doesn't matter how good the micro is coming out from Stowe right now. There's no way that he's going to be able to break this pressure, and even if he does, he has no chance of actually coming back in this game. One of the Reavers going down, and there's the GG. Mine just taking complete control of that game and wiping Snow off the face of the earth.